Executive Director of ITN Suncoast, Arthur Lerman, joins me now to talk about how you can help those in need with a ride around the Suncoast. Good morning.
Good morning, Nancy.
Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you.
Yes. Now, tell our viewers what the mission is of ITN, please.
So ITN Suncoast mission is to provide comfortable, reliable, affordable transportation to individuals when driving themselves is no longer safe or practical, so that they can continue to live what we call joyful and meaningful lives without a car.
Okay, now it's all volunteers that
Well,
do
at this
the
point,
driving?
we have been getting so many ride requests that we now complement our volunteer drivers with paid drivers.
Okay.
A few years ago, we provided 1,000 rides. This year, we're going to provide over 20,000 rides.
Oh my goodness.
And while we're getting some new volunteer drivers, we haven't been able to attract enough volunteer drivers to keep pace with the increased number of ride requests that we're receiving.
Now, how many hours a week does someone need to volunteer to help you?
We are very flexible, Nancy. Whatever works for people works for us. We have some people who will provide rides, say they'll give us a 2-hour block, say 1 to 3 on a Wednesday afternoon. And we have other people who say, I'll give you 3 days a week, just, give me whatever rides you have. So we try to be very flexible. We recognize that people are in different situations, and we appreciate any rides that anyone is willing to offer.
That's a lot of scheduling, other than, above and beyond. That's a lot of scheduling when you think about how many people are requesting. What are the requirements to become one of your drivers, Arthur?
Well, obviously they need to be able to drive well.
You don't give them a driving test, do you?
Well, rarely, but there are on a couple of occasions where we've had a little bit of uncertainty. But we do background checks, we do criminal and DMV background checks, we interview people, we check their cars, we make sure that their license, registration, and insurance is up to date. And then we provide some training because so people are clear on what our expectations are in terms of the support that they'll provide to our riders, as well as to answer any questions and make them feel comfortable.
Okay. What are some of the things that you give them as guidance?
Well, for example, first of all, we're unique in the sense that when we provide rides, we provide our riders with whatever support they need to get from their home to the car and from the car to their destination. So, for example, when a driver is giving a ride, we expect that he will go to the door of the individual for whom he's giving the ride, ask them if they need any help. If they do, he will provide that, or she will provide that. And sometimes it's just walking next to somebody. Sometimes it might be an arm, because most of our riders are individuals in their 80s and 90s.
Sure.
We also have a number of riders who have walkers. So it's a matter of helping them, not physically helping them, but opening the door and putting, so that they can get in and out of the car.
Basically being courteous and taking care of the person. And you wouldn't be there if you weren't that type of person to begin with, right?
I mean, one of the big benefits that people get is just contact with people. Our riders are extremely appreciative. You meet some very interesting people, because needless to say, there are a lot of very interesting people who live in our area.
Yes.
And so that's one of the benefits that people get. And so, yeah, you're right. We attract a certain type of person. Typically, our drivers are in their 60s and 70s. A number of them are retirees. It's actually a good mix of men and women who volunteer drive for us. And like I said earlier, the bulk of our riders are individuals, mostly women actually, in their 80s and 90s.
Okay, now we have an important date coming up here on November 6th.
We do, and out of our commitment to serving the community, but also to providing support to our riders so that they can get out and continue to do things that they've always done, we are providing free rides to the polls. We're doing it for early voting as well as on election day.
So that's taking place now?
Yeah,
right?
we are giving rides right now to people who want to vote early, which, given the length of the ballot this year, is probably a good idea. And we will also be giving rides anywhere within Sarasota and Manatee counties.
Thank you.
It's our service area. We will give rides to anybody for any reason, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, to anywhere within Sarasota and Manatee counties. And so that's our service area, and it's within that area that we are providing free rides to the polls.
Okay, very important. So people should call you now and schedule their rides early, right?
Yeah, we are.
Get in.
We're not an on-demand service. We ask that people call us by 1 o'clock the day before to request a ride.
Good.
So it would be great if they could call us with as much advance notice as possible, and then we'll be there to take them wherever they want to go.
Okay. Now, how can people learn more about your service and also about becoming a driver?
So they can either call our office at 941-364-7530, or they can go to our website. It's itnsuncoast.org, and IT is in Tom, N as in Nancy, because it stands for Independent Transportation Independent Transportation Network. So it's itnsuncoast.org.
Okay.
And there is an application. There's certainly a lot of information there on being either a rider or a volunteer driver, and there are also applications for both of those situations.
Great. Well, thank you so much for all of this information and for such an important service that you provide for our community.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Nancy, for this opportunity to share this information with you and your viewers.
Great. Thanks, Arthur.
Yeah, thank you.
The weekend is just beginning, and we have a few events for you to keep an eye out for when we come back.